Hi, everyone. I will just get started. So our next session is Augmented Reality Commerce Beyond Virtual Try-Ons. Our speaker will be Allison Ferenci. She is the CEO and co-founder of CameraIQ. She has been creating new realities since her dual MFA in interior design and digital active art at Pratt Institute. Exploring the intersection between design and architecture and human interactions, Allison became interested in how technology could bridge our online and offline worlds. In 2016, Allison founded CameraIQ with the foresight that camera is no longer just a camera. The CameraIQ helps build new technologies and interactive experiences that captivate audiences. Please give a big welcome to Allison.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you guys today about augmented reality beyond virtual try-ons. There we go. CameraIQ is a no-code design platform that enables brands to engage audiences and sell products throughout the consumer journey, from awareness to conversion. At CameraIQ, we believe the camera is the most important marketing channel. Every day, over 4 billion consumers use the camera to communicate, create, and interact with the world around them. And of course, the only medium that shows up in the camera is AR. CameraIQ has simplified AR to empower designers and marketers to easily build AR experiences in minutes and publish them across platform. Our easy-to-use platform allows anyone to get started and scale AR. For companies like Nestle, Telemundo, Smashbox, they have been able to shift with CameraIQ from creating an AR experience once or twice a year, where it's high cost, takes a lot of time, to an always-on strategy where they're engaging their consumer throughout the customer journey. At CameraIQ, for reference of kind of scale that our customers are doing, CameraIQ customers have launched over 2,000 AR experiences this year. They've reached over 1 billion consumers. They have an average of they're seeing an average of 32x engagement rate compared to traditional mediums, e.g. photo and video. And the average play rate for a CameraIQ customer is 65%, meaning 65% of consumers are opting in to use these experiences and engage with their content. So let's take a step back and quickly talk about the state of AR commerce today. Consumer expectations of how we engage, discover, and experience brands has changed forever. In 2020, 1 in 5 products were purchased online. That was a 30% increase from 2019. 70% of e-commerce sales, are happening on mobile. And already, 25% of US adults are purchasing through social, a stat that we expect to double in the next 2 years. Moreover, e-commerce grew the equivalent of 10x in the first half of 2020. So it's not surprising that all of these companies are doubling down on AR and the camera, because that is where consumers are. Consumers are spending their time on mobile and on camera-first applications. And we know that AR is a medium that's proven to engage and convert consumers. 60% of online shoppers say that they're more likely to buy a product after it's been viewed in AR. 70% of customers would be more loyal to a brand incorporating AR as part of their shopping experience. Again, so we know it's working. Let's look at a case study from one of our customers, Smashbox Cosmetics, and how they're using what we talk about at CameraIQ as traditional virtual try-on. So what you're seeing in this experience is Mac has actually digitized their SKUs, and you're trying on a specific eyeshadow palette, cream to matte shadow. In this experience, what's really exciting is that when they launched this as a story ad through Facebook, or excuse me, on Instagram, they saw during that week a 10x increase in e-commerce sales. It outperformed their click-through rate by 2x and 50% the CPC versus benchmark. Why did this happen? I can tell you a couple of things about this experience. One, I was able to do it in the privacy of my own home. I was able to try on more than one color. If I had gone into store, I probably would have tried on the blue, maybe, but in actuality, through this AR experience, I could actually try multiple colors and things I wouldn't have even considered and gotten comfortable with. Anecdotally about this case study, what was really cool is Smashbox started sending this to their buyers. So they sent it to a buyer at Ulta, and she came back and said, I would have never purchased yellow eyeshadow, and yet it was the first color that she purchased from this palette because, again, low barrier to entry, zero risk in trying something new. And for us, that was really exciting. And again, now we're seeing Smashbox create these experiences for all of their products. However, we think virtual try-on is great, but it's important not to ignore the rest of the consumer funnel. So looking at how CameraIQ experiences outperform passive content throughout the funnel, our customers are reaching 34x their following compared to when they post a photo or video. They are getting 30x the engagement rate compared to a photo or video. Again, we talk about at CameraIQ photo and video as passive content. AR is an immersive format that I am in control of. I get to see myself reflected in it and build confidence and relationship with the brand. And then our customers are seeing about a 3.5% increase in conversion. So again, for us, we're always talking about our customers, not just how do we digitize your product so you can sell through more, but how do we increase your top of funnel? How do we help you build brand loyalty from the beginning? So I want to take a moment and talk about how Mac is doing this today, and I promise I have more than beauty examples. But Mac has done such an incredible job at really engaging consumers across the consumer journey. So for reference of the scale that they're at now, through CameraIQ, they've published 378 AR experiences across 57 regions, garnering about 150 million views. The three experiences we're looking at here, the first is around cultural awareness, or creating awareness. And in this case, Mac is using AR to be part of the cultural conversation. It's not actually about their brand. It's about how their brand can help you participate in a conversation. And in this case, they're celebrating Pride. So for them, it was, we as Mac stand behind Pride, we stand behind the LGBT community, and how do we help our loyal brands, our fans, participate and celebrate that? This next experience is what I get really excited about when it comes to beyond virtual try-on, which is what we talk about as an editorial try-on experience. If we think about really what's going to differentiate one brand from another, in the case of makeup, it's not just, I don't know virtually that I can tell the difference between MAC's red lipstick and Chanel's red lipstick, but what I can tell you the difference of is how that brand makes me feel. So when you're thinking about virtual try-on, it's important to think about how do we start to imbue our brand as part of the experience. So what we see with this experience here, it's called Powder Kiss. It was part of a collection of lipsticks and eyeshadows. So the SKUs you're looking at, the lipstick and the eyeshadow, are true to texture and color, but they've actually added the additional marketing elements to it to allow you to be a part of the brand itself, to see yourself editorial, to express yourself. And then, of course, is the tried and true virtual try-on that I am demoing here, where again, what's different in this experience is not only am I actually able to try on the lipstick, but they've actually taken away all other augmentation. So you are just focused on the product that you're going to be purchasing. And again, because of this full funnel solution, Mac has seen a 3x in conversion in really thinking about that full funnel. Diving in a little bit deeper when we talk about full funnel, I think it's important to think about as a brand, how do you be part of these cultural moments? So wanted to pull up a couple of examples here of how our customers participate in a conversation while also marketing their products. The first example is from Milk Makeup. They partnered with a nonprofit called I'm a Voter. And during the November election, they actually created makeup looks that were using their products. They have really cute face stamps as one of their products, but they also created a little headband here that says I am a voter, enabling, again, their audience, primarily Gen Z, to participate and celebrate the fact that they were putting a stake in the ground about being a voter. It wasn't about milk. It was about identifying as a voter. The next is from Carnation, a Nestle brand here, and for them, it was about creating a fun way to celebrate Easter. In this case, putting a silly cake hat on or a chocolate Easter bunny hat on. But again, here, Carnation was playing with their brand and inviting consumers to play with their brand as well. The next is from Honest Company. In this case, they were ushering in fall. So they created effects here that celebrated the new prints that were on their diapers. I am a new mother. My friend back here just saw me scrolling through pictures of my son. So what better way for Honest than to create a way for me and other mothers and fathers to take fun photos of our kids. And then another example here from Smashbox, where they are celebrating Pride. So different than how Mac did it, background, a fun makeup look, but again, not about the brand, about the conversation that they can enable. Diving a little bit deeper here into editorial try-ons, wanted to share a couple of examples. The first is from Zenni Eyewear and Call of Duty. So this was a partnership. Another way for brands to make the most of AR is to think about how do you bring together a partnership. And in this case, it was actually being able to try on a pair of eyewear from Zenni, but in the brand and speaking to the Call of Duty league and audience. The reason I would consider this editorial is, again, I'm not just trying on the glasses, but you've added the reflection, you've added the branding elements that makes you understand the brand, the story, etc. One here from KVD, Kendo brand. I don't know how many people are familiar with Kat Von D, tattoo artist. So her makeup brand is all about tattoos. And in this case, again, it was about an eyeliner, but you can see they've added tattoos to be a part of that brand story. And I have tattoos, not on my face, but this was really a fun way for me to see what that would be like. And was I comfortable with that vibe? And then the last one here was for New York Fashion Week between Bobbi Brown and Ulla Johnson. Bobbi Brown makeup brand, Ulla Johnson fashion company. And what I love about this one was not only is the lipstick from their collaboration, the earrings were part of the runway show and the fall collection that you can purchase now, as well as actually pulling elements again from Ulla's patterns into the experience, allowing people who weren't necessarily at Fashion Week to participate. And even more than that, not everyone can actually afford Ulla Johnson, but now virtually they could still participate. I think that's so important when you think about connecting with this next generation of consumers. Think about how you let them participate with your brand. I should also mention this lipstick sold out in less than 24 hours. Let's take a look at this case study from Away. We were really excited when Away came to us, candidly, because I was like, yes, traditional virtual try-on. And then they surprised me. And they said, or product visualization, I should say. They said, yeah, we want to use those models from manufacturing to enable product visualization, but we also want to have fun with our brand while folks can see what our product is. So in this case, you could become case face and wear the Away suitcase on your head and tap through the colors. And what we were thrilled about is that it outperformed all of their expectations. So garnered just over 3.5 million impressions across social, 3x higher share rate than the average benchmark on Snapchat, and 10x increase in engagement. So for Away, again, this was, yes, we want to sell our suitcase, but we're actually trying to broaden our funnel and invite people to be a part of our brand in a new way. This is an interesting case study to take a look at because it brings in three things: an influencer, product visualization, as well as a front-facing experience based on an IRL event. So in this case, Nespresso partnered with Chiara, Instagram influencer, and came out with a Nespresso mug. In addition to that, they set up pop-up cafes across the globe in Milan, in Paris, London, etc. But what Nespresso really wanted to do was to actually tap into Chiara's community, her global community. How could her 24 million Instagram followers also participate in this event while feeling confident in their purchase? And so what Nespresso did so well was they, of course, were able to have the 3D model of the cup or mug, that you could purchase, but more than that, they replicated part of the physical experience digitally and invited everyone to participate. In terms of scale, they launched this across more than 18 regional accounts. They had a 53% play rate, and they increased engagement by 34%. Speaking of global audience, I think it's really important as a brand when you are building these experiences, not just thinking about how do I engage or how do I sell my product, but think about how AR can be reflective of your global audience. We live in a shared world, and as a brand, it's not just about what is this going to look like on me, but how can I invite everyone to participate? And I think it is in this vein of why AR is so successful in helping brands reach and convert their customers, because they're inviting everyone to participate and see themselves reflected in your brand. Any questions?
Thank you, Allison. If anyone has any questions, please come down the middle, and you can ask it from here. But I actually have a question for you, just as a marketer myself.
Yeah.
How have these brands been building kind of the AR experiences, the virtual try-ons, into their overall strategy, and not just like as a one-off gimmick for Fashion Week or, kind of the long-term plays that they're having to?
Yeah. So I think what's important is often when customers come to CameraIQ, they've already done a one-off experience, and they understand not only the challenge of making those experiences, but they've seen the success. And so what we do at CameraIQ, and I would encourage any marketer to do, is to sit down and look at your marketing calendar in the same way that you're saying, we're going to post a video, we're going to tweet, we're going to, do a LinkedIn post. I'm B2B, so naturally I'm like, LinkedIn, is then take a step back and say, okay, how do I, with this, add an AR experience? And maybe it is, one of my favorite examples is actually from Bumble. And Bumble's brand is all about creating connections. And so for them, I don't know if you guys have seen that randomizer mechanism, but they created question games so that as a consumer, I use it and I answer a question. And that was part of their campaign for creating connections. So what I'm getting at is I think it's about not just saying, wouldn't it be great to do this once, but looking at your overall calendar and thinking about how do we imbue it. Again, be part of a cultural conversation. How many holidays are happening right now? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, so on and so forth. How do you as a brand, you're decorating your windows. Well, why don't you decorate the camera for your consumer? Just as much as I'm trying to sell this product for Cyber Monday.
Thank you.
Hi, Allison. Thank you. I really was very intrigued by the editorial lenses you showed, and I guess I have two questions around this, and one you kind of already spoke to with the culture conversations, but the first question would be towards, like, what is your kind of process of creating editorial lenses or editorial try-ons? And then the other question is more like, can you disentangle the effect of those editorial content versus the more traditional product content?
Yeah, great question. So in terms of imbuing the editorial layer in, to take a step back at CameraIQ, just like creators are using Lens Studio or Spark AR, we're providing our software tool to designers at these brands to leverage for themselves. So when we onboard them, often what we'll do is we actually will say, hey, let's take a look at what are your brand guidelines, what are the Photoshop files, what are the what's that cool effect you just did in that TikTok video, and actually try to look at, again, the existing content that their designers are producing. So for us, I was just listening actually to your panel, which was excellent, and one of the things I wanted to yell out is, how do we bring along the existing designer? How do we empower them? So a lot of what we spend our time doing is talking to those existing designers about literally the marketing elements they're putting in their photos or in their videos, and showing them how they go from 2D passive content into 3D interactive experiences.
The second question was about like like you showed us a couple of really impressive statistics about like intention raises and stuff like this, or lifts in intention and purchase. Can you disentangle those other, like, I'm just curious, like how much effect do I kind of attribute to the editorial content versus like the more traditional product try-on, or is it all like one big campaign and you can't really tell the difference where the
no, it's so and I apologize that it wasn't clear in the way I presented those stats. The way that we look at that is, first off, we actually think there's not only specific formats and surface areas that are very explicitly for driving conversion, a la product try-on to check out on Instagram, or specific ad units on Snapchat that really are, have the swipe up call to action to shop. But 100% of CameraIQ customers publish organically, so these effects are actually just living on their public profiles with no call to action insofar as, hey, you should check out with on this product. So when we talk about that top level awareness and then increase in engagement, that's looking at an organic AR experience versus an organic photo, and watching actually the amount of time spent, the percentage of people that choose to interact. When we talk about conversion, those experiences have very specifically had a call to action and were a format that allowed them to proceed to a checkout.
Good. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the presentation. I have a question about 3D content.
Sure.
And how you, I guess two questions. One is, what percentage of experiences that are being created leverage 3D as an asset? Like the suitcase, the away example, and the coffee mug. And how do you make that process simple for your customers, right? Is it still a very manual method? Is there any automation?
Yeah, great question. So broadly, when we look at the CameraIQ customer, today I chose to focus on our customers that were selling products. We have many customers who are IP holders. I would say, and I wish that I had my marketing team over here to tell me for sure, but I would say probably currently less than 25% of experiences created on CameraIQ include 3D. I think that's actually hugely promising insofar as how successful brands can be without 3D. Certainly, as you're kind of calling out, 3D production is still a huge challenge. What we're able to do on CameraIQ is we actually pull in your library of 3D assets. Or if you don't have a library of 3D assets, we connect you with partners like CG Trader to say, here's a partner that can help you scale that. I think I'll echo the last panel in that one of the best things as a brand you can be doing today is to be digitizing your product line. CameraIQ has a solution for beauty to build their SKUs. In terms of 3D asset creation, we would direct you to a partner like CG Trader.
Understood. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Allison.
so much.
Thank you, everyone.